the crowd that I was, crowd of friends that I had, some of them were journalists, and their colleagues, many of their colleagues were in places, in Europe. And as Hitler was invading these various countries, so the foreign correspondents would come back to this country. And one particular friend, a great friend of mine, she had been the foreign correspondent in Paris for years and years, and she came back to England when France fell. And that is why I was very aware of all that going on for that reason, I think. And that's how I got involved with the Fighting French, or the Free French, and the club that was set up.
The Free French at this club, have they all been in the French army?
Not all of them. No, they came over, so many civilians, and they got in a uniform over here. De Gaulle, he came. I remember seeing him once in a restaurant. That was a ferocious-looking man, he was. And I was with a little French soldier at the time. It was a fish restaurant called Prunier. It doesn't exist anymore. And when de Gaulle came in with his party, he had quite a lot of guests sat at a huge table. And my little friend, Jean, leapt to his feet and stood to attention. And de Gaulle looked at him and looked away, and he was horrible. He kept poor little Jean standing there at attention, and eventually he looked over, gave a nod. That meant, all right, you can sit down now, like a sort of dog. A very arrogant man.
Did he, was there heavy security at that place where de Gaulle was?
No, didn't seem so. I mean, I don't know who these visitors or guests of his were, but they didn't seem to be heavily armed or anything. It just looked like, colleagues or...
So did anyone know anyone important might be turning up?
Well, we certainly didn't know. I'm sure, well, yes, the owners of Prunier would have known because the table was all set for them. So probably there were security. I wouldn't know.
What was your impression of de Gaulle then?
Very, very self-contained. Not he seemed to be very stern all the time. There was a woman sitting at a table near us, and she was an American. I know this because I heard her. She went over to de Gaulle, and she said, "Monsieur mon général, je suis enchanté de vous voir." Did you get that? My general, I am enchanted to see you or meet you. In appalling French, a sort of American accent. And so de Gaulle's jaw sort of dropped a little. That's it. Very serious. Not at all relaxed. When you're out at a lunch party, it's all quite jolly usually, isn't it? This all seems so stuck up and serious.
Was he dressed in an impressive uniform?
He was dressed in uniform. Yes, I suppose, impressive, yes. You couldn't ignore him. I mean, for one thing, he was so huge. He was a terribly tall man. A very rocky face.
Did you, I don't know how you felt about him before, but did you lose respect for him after he kept that man standing at attention?
Did I not?
Lose respect for de Gaulle when he kept that man standing at attention for so long?
I didn't, I thought, you're a rotten old devil. You could have given the gentle nod to this poor little soldier a lot sooner than he did.
Do you think France let Britain down during the war?
No, not really. Not really. What could they do? They had this Maginot Line, which was a totally idiotic thing. I mean, it went across France and was supposed to keep the Germans away out of France, so they simply went round the side of it and came in, I believe, round the side of the Maginot Line. No, I don't think, I have never thought that France was to blame, although that they let us down.